Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Al Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the township, the village. You know, those government entities that they make laws and regulations that affect you out there.
That's right. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people that you elected last year, and the committees and the commissions that make decisions that directly affect you. And whether you attended that meeting or not, we're here to explain what happened.
Yes. And spread rumors.
Rumors?
Mostly you
Oh, well.
spread rumors. Do you have any in mind today?
It's a dirty job, but someone has to do it.
But no matter what you do, there's humor.
That's
Definitely
right.
humor
That's
in
right.
politics and in these meetings that you folks should attend. And if you don't attend, like he says, it'll come back and it will bite you.
That's
Right.
right. Your ox could have been gored and you'd never know it
Right. There goes the ox, and I don't know who gored
until you
it.
get your next tax bill.
Right. That's true. Okay, let's talk about a couple of meetings, shall we, that came up?
Absolutely.
One of them is the Oxford Township ZBA.
Zoning Board of Appeals.
Right. And the Village of Leonard meeting that they had with the board,
Oh.
trustee board.
Oh,
So we're gonna
actually,
talk
it's
about-
not.
It's not? What do you call it?
It's the council,
Oh, it is a council. Why wouldn't it be a board?
because they're not.
Take a note. We'll ask
They're not board. It's exciting.
on that stack of yellow notes you have over there. I mean, they're getting taller and
Townships
taller,
have boards.
you know?
Villages have councils.
That's what they do. They do, huh?
They do.
Okay, well, we're set straight on this one, folks. But anyway, we're going to go with the Oxford Township Zoning Board of Appeals. Jim Butler is the chairperson for that particular board. And sitting on that board is Corey Bailey, Margaret Payne, who was recently appointed.
Oh,
She sits on the trustee board. Going to confuse me again?
she used to work for the fire department.
She
Or does
did.
she still?
No, she does not.
Okay.
And Callie Rossner and Mr. Walters,
Holly Ressner Myers.
Myers.
Right.
Yep. Sits on that board.
Listen to the guy long enough, I pick up on it.
Well, once in a while, yeah, I mean, you know. But they did the Pledge of Allegiance, of course, and they approved the agenda for the evening. November 14th minutes, they approved those as well, with an exception or an addendum to it. And Kelly disagreed with some of the words and wanted to have them corrected, so that was done. They reviewed it, and the public comments. Looked around, nobody wanted to make a comment.
Just checking her shoes.
Right, so this meeting is going to go fast, right? Pretty much.
Or is that a leading question?
It was a leading question, yeah. Next thing on the agenda was election of officials. Now, Jim Butler was the chair for the last couple years, so apparently there's a 2-year or 2-term limit in which he's allowed to be the chair. So they voted in Callie Rossner Myers
Oh.
as the chairperson.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and Jim Butler was positioned for vice chair. Now he could take that position, no problem. And secretary was Corey.
Isn't Callie also on the planning commission?
She is on the planning commission. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So it kind of fits in rather nicely, I think, with the ZBA. And by the way, when she went ahead and she took the chair at that point, she did a pretty good job of handling this meeting. And we'll talk more as we
She's
go
been in a
along.
lot of meetings.
Yeah, right.
She should know by now.
But I mean, she used the, you know,
Robert's Rules of
Robert's
Order.
Rules of Order.
Okay.
She did. She knows them well.
You
so.
can't go wrong with that.
Right. So anyway, that being said, we'll go on with the meeting. They went to the regular business first, and the regular business they're going to be talking about was 198 Indian Knolls. There's a lady, her name is Holly Slay, filed an application and for an R1 zoning area on Lot 54, which is Davis Lake Highland,
Okay.
where this lot is located. And the problem was that this young lady purchased this home and bought it on, I think, a foreclosure. And I think it was a mess, you know, when she got it as far as property. But there's a swimming pool that needed to be repaired and all kinds of things, you know. And she'd made a number of major improvements to the property. And there was a fence at one time that went from the edge of the home and around the pool. However, that was a stockade fence, which was a 6-foot fence. I don't believe the ordinance, would allow that now.
Why
But
not?
anyway, because that's not the code. Maximum you can be is 5 foot 8 inches, I believe it is, with a fence, and a minimum of 3 feet.
Based on the average height of a man back in 1935.
Yes, very, very, very small people. So, anyway, that was an issue. But what happened is she wanted to put this fence that had deteriorated and gone, and move the fence closer to the property line, to the edge of the road. And she hired a company, and it was Lowe's, to do the work.
Okay.
And did a contract. She did all that right, thinking that Lowe's would file for a permit to go ahead and do this and do it properly.
Why
right?
do I think I know the next line?
Right. Well, it appears as though the company did go to the township, and however, the feedback that the lady had, Holly Slay, was that there's no permit issued in the township, which is correct, but one has to file a site plan if you're going to do something like that.
Build a
Make sure-
fence?
To build a fence. You need a site plan in order to show the property line position where the fence is going to be, so that it doesn't infringe on traffic or anything along that line in terms of line of sight when you stop at a stop sign.
Or the other guy's property?
Or the other guy's property, right. Well, obviously, she doesn't want people looking over the fence watching her swim in the swimming pool. Although she said that wouldn't bother her that much, if that were to happen.
5'8"? No.
5'8". Anyway, so the problem was that this company installed the fence, and they installed
Without the permit?
without getting a site plan for it, without getting the
Oh,
approval.
because they didn't
from the
need a
township.
permit, they needed a site plan. Okay.
Right, they need to get that approval, not a permit, but they need to get the approval.
Did they know that? Was she
Well,
informed
if
of
they're-
that before they?
It doesn't matter. She relied on them to do this. They're a contracting company, supposedly, that did this job. And any contractor should know the protocol, for the township that they're working in, right?
Okay.
And normally they pull the permits too. I know I was a contractor once, and I would always pull the permits. But I'd always provide a copy of that permit, to the home that I was working with too, so they would know that proper information was given back to them.
And that wasn't done?
And that was not done.
Okay.
So anyway, so the next thing that happens is somebody apparently complained in the neighborhood. So,
That knew the code?
well, the problem was that it was close to it was in the right-of-way, is what it came out to. The right-of-way requirements is 28 foot, the fence has to be from the center of the line. And that wasn't the case. The fence was built closer than that, and of course,
Are we talking to the road here?
to the road.
Okay.
Yep. The situation was one where this lady, Holly, she wanted to gain more green space. And so that's why the fence was moved further out rather than where the old position of the fence was located. And so, so the fence was placed in that position. The complaints came up that it's too close to the road, you can't see around it when you come to a stop sign, that kind of thing. So,
And of course, the end of the fence has an anchor pole in it.
right. So we'll flash forward, and now this actual what do you call it? A bill, or not a bill, but a petition for her to remove the fence, or else she would go to court for this, because she is in violation. And with that, we'll talk more when we come back. Hopefully, you've learned a thing or two here. I know I have. Welcome to Minutes by Minutes again. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are talking about this fence.
The fence.
And
the
this-
5'8" fence.
and this lady is in a quandary. She doesn't know what to do at this point because now she's got a subpoena for court.
So it's too
eventually.
tall.
This
And
happened
it's too tall and too long.
too long. in the
Well-
wrong location.
It seems like about 4 inches would, if you just sawed off the points on the stockade, would put her in compliance.
But it's still, no, it's still a situation where it's in the right of way.
Well, it's too long, but that didn't address that.
It's out in the right of way. You can't do that.
It's too long.
Too wide.
Too wide?
Comes too wide into the street.
Too long.
No, too long is the length of the building,
Right.
length of the property.
She had it across her property?
Yeah, it comes across the property.
Oh, it's parallel to the street.
Yes,
Oh, well then.
but infringing upon what?
Setback.
Right, you got it.
And it was a setback for her.
Yeah, it was really a big setback for her, yeah. So anyway, so they beat this thing around pretty good, and they had a gentleman that stood up. His name was Larry Benajowski, and he's one of the neighbors. He lives in this subdivision. And he brought about some pretty interesting facts. He said you stop at the stop sign, you can't see around it, so you have to kind of creep out. And actually a couple of the council members actually tested this area, went around, and they found the same thing.
I
So it
see
was an
council
issue.
members or ZBA commission
ZBA
members?
commissioners.
Okay.
Now I'm going to change their names if I can. Okay. That's another rumor. Okay. So anyway, the woman at one point, she says, well, the township representative that this was brought before said that nothing was required. You know, a site plan, didn't bring up a site plan or anything along that line, which a letter was introduced from the clerk in the building department, who said she's been with the building department for some time. She would never ever do that. And so, you know, that was complete falsehood. That was never implied or said that, you know, they could build this fence without having a site plan. Just that it's true that you don't need a permit, but you gotta have a site plan. So anyway, they beat that around a bit. And eventually it came up to a point where they're gonna make a vote on this. And they said, here's the situation. They're trying to make it work.
Was a representative from Lowe's there at this thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Since then, the person who actually did the work, the contractor, and the people that set up the agreement at Lowe's are no longer working at Lowe's. And Lowe's told her, we'll throw our hands up, we can't help you. But if you need help, let us know. In other words, don't worry about it. We're not going to help you. So
Don't
she's
worry
kinda
about
out
it.
there
We're
and-
not going to help you.
Yeah. So she's kind of out there, marooned all by herself.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Another
Okay.
satisfied customer.
So what it came to is that they had a number of different people that spoke on both on behalf and against this fence. They came to a consensus that there was a large oak tree, and if they use that as the marking point on their plot information that they had, if they moved the fence on the other side, in other words, towards the property owner's side,
Was the oak tree in compliance?
the oak tree was fine.
Why?
Well, because it was the proper distance from the setback.
Or because it was an oak tree?
Yeah, right. So they didn't have, yeah, they could do whatever they wanted, right? It's been there for years. But anyway, it was in compliance, shall we say that? Okay.
It was grandfathered in.
It was grandfathered in.
Since
That
it was a
tree-
sapling.
That tree was not going to move, even if you want to run a fence right through it. Well, anyway, they want to make sure that didn't happen. So anyway, so they thought that would work, and so they said that it has to be 25 feet from the lot, which would be the setback, and on the other side of the tree, at least 2 feet, 2.5 feet, I think they said, and they then could run that fence accordingly. And they have a maximum height of 5'8", or they can go down to 3 feet if they want to do that. But that was the decision
Did they
of
ever
this particular
say-
board.
Since you've been on these boards and what have you, what's the rationale for 5'8"?
It's actually in control of the state code. If you look at the state requirements, you know, as far as the building codes,
Oh, so that
Yeah.
1935 thing I came up with before is probably true.
it could be pretty darn close, yeah, especially if you check the state builder's code manual.
I mean,
Yeah, these are based on
it
state
seems like an
codes
arbitrary
usually.
number, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Now, township could change, you know, those to some degree, but for
Can the
safety.
township trump state?
Well, depends on the safety issue now. You don't want to go shorter than 3 feet because it's a safety issue.
If you don't want a kid climbing over your fence, you'd make
Right.
it 7 feet.
Right. Well, the point is that your township doesn't want to take liability for it, so usually they'll use the state codes as a
Okay.
premise. So that's pretty much how this was done. So that was in agreement pretty much with what needed to be done. The young lady had to appear in court, I think, the following day or a couple days
Court?
from. Yeah, she was called to circuit court because of this issue, because the township was pressing it. This has gone on since July. So look how long it's been running.
It
And
seems
she's-
so simple to start with, didn't it?
Well, she's received countless notices. She's transmitted I don't know how many emails to the township, and just has not received any kind of resolve or solution to it.
Sounds like a Kafka novel.
Well, this is the resolve. This is the solution, and she's required to do that.
Yeah.
And also they put a deadline on it, and the deadline is 6 months. So she's got to have this completed within 6 months. Includes the variance for height, and no higher than 5'8", and of course 3 feet. And
But
they said-
stockade is allowed with the little pointies on it.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep, you could do that if you want. Actually, the state code says that it should be a chain link. You know, if you're going to run
What
it
kind of
around-
privacy
around
do you
the
get
pool.
with a chain link?
Well, that's for pool protection.
Well, yeah, but
You know, so you don't get the bears in there taking a
then
bath.
if it's a chain link, then they got to weave all that plastic through it, so it
Yeah,
actually gives you privacy.
For privacy.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. You're right. Okay, well, that pretty much settles that one, unless you have questions.
I don't have any more questions.
That
I rest
surprises
my
me.
case, Your Honor.
That surprised me. But it seems like the smallest matter, you know, gets blown into a really big matter, you know, if you don't take care of it right from the
Guarantees
get-go.
employment.
That first notice you get, you know, that you're out of compliance, I would move on that quickly if I were you out there. It'll keep you from paying extra money and that kind of thing in order to resolve this in court.
And court costs.
And my experience has been that usually when these go to court, the court will usually rule in favor of the township. So it doesn't happen because the ordinance is what it is.
What's the law? You broke the law, pay the court.
Yep, that's the way it works. Just like when you were speeding.
Why? Me speed?
You broke the law, you got to pay.
Well, you do.
You do. Okay, well, the next meeting we're going to talk about is the Village of Leonard. I love that little town of Leonard.
Yes, you do.
Except we don't get to talk about the bears and the porcupines anymore,
Why is that?
because we're not going to do that particular segment anymore,
Oh,
because we're told that the library is going to preempt it.
you'll have
Parks
to
and
find some exciting things to say about the library then.
We'll have to, you know what, I got some feeling out there that we probably will at some point. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Okay, with that, we'll be back. Be back in just one moment.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to American Legion in Oxford for the best fish on Fridays. That's right, from noon to 8:30. You can get the best walleye in Michigan. You can get walleye, baked cod, chicken strips, baked potatoes, and more. On the hall side of the Legion, oh, hello there, friends. You can have 12 friends on a table, any one of the best military museums in Michigan. And the dining side, oh, hello again. More comfortable with many 4-seat tables and a couple of 5-seaters. Now on Friday we usually have about 400 to 500 of best friends for our fish. Carry-out? You bet. We have 50 to 60 carry-outs at the post. We have some young friends with the birthdays and some of our best seniors at the post. Oh yeah, waitresses, they go like a track waitress to get your food. If you have never enjoyed our secret's famous walleye at the Legion, come on in every Friday from noon to 8:30 at the American Legion Post 108 on 130 East Rainer Road, Oxford.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we have just been talking about what? An interesting pool situation and fence.
That's
haven't we?
right. Don't fence me in.
Don't fence me in. But the next one we're going to talk about is the Village of Leonard. And of course, the president of this.
Mike McDonald.
Okay, thank you. I was looking for it, trying to drag it out. Is
I thought
Mike
you were drawing a
McDonald.
blank myself.
No, I might be shooting a few over there, but I'm not sure. Trustees Sotheby is on that board. Amarante. Yeah, he was absent, so we won't need to talk
Give him
about him.
enough rope, he'll get it
Right.
right. Sooner or later.
Hoffman and Kennedy. Kennedy's the newest guy on this board.
And easy to pronounce.
Yeah, and he came back. He came back from vacation, of course, right away. They they nominated him for a job, on the side. We'll get to that in just a moment. They did Pledge Allegiance, of course, and they did the prayer, which they do regularly.
Yep.
It's a nice touch, I think. And minutes. And Shar Sotheby is a trustee. She said, I have one change to make. They said, well, what is that? I said, well, in the last minutes, what is a drome? D-R-O-M.
Drome.
We talked about the Oxford
Cable Commission drone.
Cable Commission drone. And she said, but in the minutes it says drome. So they said, okay, we'll change it. So it's just, nobody will know what a drone
Take
is.
the R out, it's a dome.
Right. Okay, so they got it right. And then, let me see, Chairman McDonald, he said that he had a couple of amendments that had to be placed, on the agenda.
Amendments?
Amendments to
or
the...
extra agenda items?
amendments to the agenda.
Oh.
Amendments to the agenda. Now, there's a mouthful. Amendments to the... We could start a song like that, amendments to the agenda. Can you make up the
It'd be a
words?
patter song, I think.
Okay. Anyway, for planning services and CDBG. Test.
What?
CDBG.
Community Development Block Grantorium.
Close enough. Okay. What they found out is through the treasurer, or not the treasurer, but was it the treasurer? Anyway, somebody on this group, they said that we're going to use some of the CDBG funds for a sidewalk. And she said, you can't do that. She said, I checked into it, and it's not allowable under CDBG. You can't use it for sidewalks.
It has to be for whatever you requested the grant for.
Yeah, you can use it for pathways, she said, the way it's defined.
Oh.
So why couldn't they change sidewalks to pathways? They just have to put cement on it.
Wait till the next meeting.
Right. Let's see what happens. Anyway, also, the subject came up with the budget, and that there were a couple of changes that need to be made. On the general fund, an increase of the following areas. They said an increase in dues of $300 was required, and for seminars and so forth. And community beautification project, they Mr. McDonald said that there should be $100 in there. Refund of bonds, $400.
They tweak their budget a lot more than we do on the OACCC.
They do. They do, but they have to watch every penny there.
Oh, I know.
You spend it extravagantly.
I do not.
Okay. I'll spread that rumor. Boy, will you get the letters.
Thank you very much.
Right. Sanitation, $500. Cell phone, $30. Boy, they don't do much cell service for $30. Nature Park.
2 tin cans and a hot.
Could be. String probably breaks once in a while. $175 for the Nature Park, and the mill, $250 for allocated for
Is
the
their
mill.
nature park the same as the Addison Park, or is it different?
Nature Park? Yeah, it would be Addison Park.
Is it?
Sure,
Okay.
would be.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be like,
So they're basically picking up their share of whatever the allocation
sure.
was. Okay.
Yeah, they got to pay a certain amount,
Okay.
in the area towards the
I just
township.
never heard it called a nature park, and
Yeah.
I thought it was specific to the village.
Nope, so they need
Okay.
to allocate it. So, and to summarize this is they have to decrease in order to balance the legal. So they're going to have less law come in
Okay.
to play here by $2,375. That's quite a bit, but that does balance the budget for them.
Okay.
Now, they also going to have an
Federal government
increase.
should learn from this.
Right. They do have an increase in the following. That's miscellaneous, $20,380. And the summer festival, they've added $972 for the festival. Great festival, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Strawberry
Strawberries, ice cream,
Yeah, all that
parade.
good stuff. You don't want to miss it if you're out there. Check it out. Sometime in August, I think it is. Matter of fact, the road that they're going to do on Elmwood,
Yes.
that's scheduled for August. But
Oh, well then.
but not during the Strawberry Festival. After the Strawberry Festival is what it was pointing out. We'll go in. So
Sure.
you'll be able to, yeah. So you folks will be able to get to the Strawberry Festival. Don't miss that one.
You may not
Okay.
get out.
Right. Now their total for new balance was $229,482.98. That's probably your petty cash, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Okay.
you get done with it.
Major fund increase gravel, $300 for gravel. Road salt, $500. Signs, $175. So they'll get money from the drain fund, transfer it over, the amount of about $975 in order to make that balance. The other thing was miscellaneous income expense, and they're going to increase that by $1,181.65. So
Taking it from.
taking it from and increase the budget to $210,324.15, both income and expense. Okay. Now, there's a bunch of other things that they had to do in order to adjust the budgets, but it was approved, motion was made,
And life was
everybody
good.
agreed. Now they said, we have bills. We got through talking money here.
For which we'll have to adjust the budget again. No.
You never know. Anyway, so they have, remember, they do their bills in several different levels.
That's right. 3, I think.
Yeah, well, 4 actually
4.
with the mill.
It's
Mill and
growing.
recreation.
Oh, okay.
Okay. First one is general fund, $6,369.62. Second one is a major fund, $1,483.86. Now somebody's
they
spending
don't-
money out there.
They don't believe in rounding.
No, they don't. Every penny counts.
Yep.
And local fund, $704.58, and the mill fund, nothing removed from there.
Okay.
Okay, so that was certainly approved. Wasn't really it was a no-brainer in that case. Okay, public comment. Bruce Alt spoke up, and he said that he would like the village to look at being able to serve alcoholic beverages in the glass, because he's interested in purchasing property which would become a bar.
Does that
restaurant.
imply that Leonard doesn't have a bar?
Well, they do, but I think that's just by the bottle or whatever, beer maybe.
Oh.
I don't know, there is a bar there.
So they have a
Used
liquor
to be.
They might have a store, but they don't
Store.
have a bar. Okay.
Probably not.
All right.
So anyway, so this gentleman was saying, well, before he buys the property, he wants to make sure that this thing is intact, so that, you know.
If you're going to build
Yeah.
a bar, you better.
Yeah. I guess the theme is going to be Indian, and he's going to build a bar because he knows how.
Oh.
Speaking of know how, what's coming up?
We do have meetings. On 1/16 at 6 p.m., the Village of Oxford Downtown Development Authority is meeting. Aren't you on that? No, maybe not.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are.
Downtown development.
On 1/17 at 7 o'clock, the Addison Township Fire Board will be meeting. On 1/18 at 3 p.m., the Pollyant Trail Management Council will be meeting at the Oxford Township offices. And on 1/19 at 7 o'clock, the Village of Leonard Planning Commission will be meeting. And at 4:30 that same day, NOTA, North Oakland Transportation Authority, will be meeting at the Lake Orion Village offices, not the township offices, the village offices. They just added that last year. And on 1/20 at 10 a.m., the Village of Oxford special meeting will be, I think, at what, 10:30?
Yeah.
Okay. And on 1/23 at 4 p.m., the OACCC, which is,
You be there.
I do CBGG. You can't get
All right.
Oxford Area Cable Communications Commission, our
I was
parent
waiting
body.
for him to get that in. By the way, Mr. Kennedy, that sits on the board for and Leonard,
Yes.
he was put in as a alternate
Oh, okay.
for NOTA.
Okay, I've got to
He
change something else
volunteered.
now.
Everybody else stepped forward or behind, and he stepped forward.
Okay.
So anyway, that being said, this is Minutes by Minute.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
I'm Elgin Nichols. Catch you next time right here.
Bye-bye.